Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest webinar in Caring's Digital Marketing Academy. Our session today is about how to ask for online reviews from your customers. I'm Denise Grob, a marketing director here at Caring.com, and I'm joined by a reputation management expert at the organization Consumer Fusion, Mark Spencer, who I'll introduce more in just a moment. Before we dive into the presentation, I want to let you know this is a one-way webcast where only the presenters speak, but we do want you to ask questions. You can do so at any time using the Q&A module. And the number one question we get is the session being recorded and will the slides be available? The answer is yes. We'll be sending the recording and slides to all of you tomorrow. We also have a webinar archive on partners.caring.com that'll have a link to the recording and slides. Now, this is a free webinar and it's sponsored by Caring.com. For those of you who are getting to know us, and as a refresher for our partners, Caring.com is a leading referral service for senior living and senior care, and the #1 site for reviews of senior services, including assisted living, in-home care, independent living, memory care, and more. In fact, we were one of the first to offer senior living and senior care reviews online, with some reviews on our website dating back to 2008. Currently, we are hosting more than 331,000 consumer reviews on our flagship site, Caring.com, and 2 other websites we own, and we add thousands of consumer reviews every month. And each year, we compile the Caring Stars list of the best senior living communities and in-home care agencies based on those consumer reviews. This Service Excellence Award was the first of its kind in our industry. We had a webinar this summer where we went into depth on that. For those of you who are interested, contact Reviews at Caring. Happy to share more info, and I'll touch on it briefly in a moment too. Overall, our reviews program is known for its high integrity. We have senior care experts, not algorithms, reading the reviews before they get posted. We have some well-established guidelines that determine which reviews get published and which reviews are taken down. And we have customer service staff available by phone or email if help is ever needed with a review concern. Today, we are so excited to have Mark Spencer as our featured presenter alongside me. He has over a dozen years of expertise in addressing disgruntled employee and other inappropriate and illegitimate reviews online, as well as expertise in helping healthcare companies with their online reputation. Consumer Fusion and Caring.com are partnered to offer Caring's reviews in Consumer Fusion's review monitoring and management platform. That software integration went live in May 2021. Mark also previously joined us in the Digital Marketing Academy to discuss responding to reviews while remaining HIPAA compliant. That was a very popular session, and for those of you that missed it, it too is available in our webinar archive. I'm also a featured presenter today, and for those of you who are not already familiar with me, I've been at Caring for almost 11 years, and I have extensive experience in social media marketing and reviews in particular. I was actually part of the original expert panel who created our review guidelines. I've been a key player in the program in the years since then. I'm also the co-creator and manager of the Caring Stars program. In my current role, I support both consumers adding their senior living and senior care reviews to help other folks like them, and I work with our directory partners to help them manage and optimize their online reputation. Lesser known fact about me is that before I joined the team at Caring, I was curating thousands of reviews for an education website. And in my personal life, I'm an avid reviewer, as I'm sure some of you are as well. Here's what we're going to discuss today. We'll start with a quick refresher on why building your online review profile is a strategic and very important endeavor, why you can't just pray for reviews. You have to proactively seek them out and ask for them. Then we'll take you through some nuts and bolts on who to ask for reviews, when to ask for them, and how to ask for them. And as promised, we'll have a Q&A at the end. And for those who joined late, #1 question, will it be recorded and will the slides be available? The answer is yes and yes. We love that question. Okay, without further ado, let's get started in discussing reviews. why you should build your online reviews profile, and why it's necessary to have to ask. This is a refresher for some of you that attended our reviews webinars this summer, so I appreciate your patience. And for those who missed those prior sessions, in today's marketplace, your potential client and their family is perusing your online reputation first before they're expressing interest, taking tours, or returning your calls when they've seen enough reviews to persuade them to do so. This is particularly true for the adult daughters and daughter-in-laws researching senior living or home care for their elderly parent or spouse's parent. And the 2020 pandemic increased online engagement with reviews even more. Even if seniors and their family members get a recommendation for senior living or home care from a doctor, a friend, or a hospital discharge planner, many are still going online to look at those reviews. In fact, reviews are a standard part of search results nowadays and help businesses rank. And Google even has a reviews from the web module that appears when someone Googles your business name. People searching for a local business click to view business listings with reviews, and they skip those that don't. So if you don't have reviews online yet, you're likely losing business to your competitors who do. On Caring, we've studied the influence of reviews on inquiry and conversion performance for our partners. We didn't narrow this research to the positive reviews only. We looked at the volume of reviews across all ratings. We've done this analysis multiple times over the last 5 years and have repeatedly seen that partner listings with 15 or more reviews see significantly more leads and more move-ins than partners with only 1 to 2 reviews or worse, no reviews. This data I'm showing you is just a sampling of the studies we've done. We've looked at data across our entire portfolio of partners. We've looked at specific partners and their listing portfolio. The results are obviously going to vary, but the bottom line fact has been proven time and again. Having more reviews can give a great boost to your sales and marketing success. This exciting data confirms how powerful online reviews are in the search and selection process. Mark, are you seeing similar results for Consumer Fusion's clients as well?
Absolutely. We see the results across all of the review sites. And not only that, but with the reviews, having more reviews is great, but also engaging in responding to those reviews for the positive and also the negative. And you mentioned the HIPAA compliant responses. You want to make sure you don't call out that user, but having the owner's response with key category words built into it as well. So you want to thank the people that took the time out of the day to respond to or write a review for you, but putting keywords in your owner's responses and staying HIPAA compliant will also engage and increase your lead conversions as well.
Thanks, Mark. Another benefit from getting reviews is it can help your business earn a Service Excellence Award called Caring Stars. Every year, Caring.com recognizes senior living communities and agencies getting a high volume of great reviews and who respond to every 1-star or 2-star review they receive on the Caring.com listing. Any listing, so any community or agency listed on our site can qualify for this award. We have some pretty rigorous criteria, but you don't have to be a partner of Caring.com to win this award. It's looking just at the reviews on Caring. It's not a compilation of reviews across multiple sites. While you don't have to be a partner of Caring to earn it, we do have data on those who are. And we compared the Caring Stars partners versus our partner listings that hadn't won the award. We found that Caring Stars winners in our partner portfolio averaged twice as many inquiries and 3 times more conversions than the Caring partner listings that hadn't won the award. So that badge is a signal to the consumer of service excellence. It's doing its job and helping the best providers stand out. And every year, this award generates lots of positive content, media coverage, social media buzz, also helps boost morale for the winners amongst their staff and can be used as a great recruiting tool as well. Like I said, we provided a lot of detail on Caring Stars in our June webinar, which is in our archive. But I just want to give you one key tip here is that Every year, unfortunately, we have to disqualify some communities and agencies due to lack of response to reviews, particularly the negative reviews. And there's been research that shows that businesses that respond to reviews get more reviews and increase their overall average rating within 6 months of responding. So contact Reviews at Caring if you want that study or you want any more information on Caring Stars. We're happy to share that with you. Consumer Fusion is also a great source on the value of responding, since their tool is focused on monitoring and responding as well. Okay, so there are 3 key reasons why you need to ask for reviews to be successful in building your online reputation. First, boomers and seniors are online. Don't get me wrong. They are definitely online in large numbers, but let's be frank, they're not the original Yelp generation. For many of these folks, writing a review of your senior living community or home care agency might be their first time doing it. We hear from seniors and some of their family members on a regular basis that, I don't normally write reviews, but I felt really compelled to do so in this case. So that is one key reason you have to proactively outreach. But another reason is if you're not asking for reviews from your satisfied customers, your dissatisfied customers may build your online reputation for you. And by that, I mean, some folks with negative feedback may be more motivated to go online and post that feedback than the folks that are satisfied. The other thing to keep in mind is it can take a lot more time to build up a great collection of reviews, or it might never happen if you're not actively asking for the feedback and the online reviews. So these are 3 key reasons why we can't just pray that it happens. We have to take action. And first thing you've done is attend this webinar to get some tips on how to do it. Really appreciate you spending time here. So let's go ahead and dive in to more information to help you. Oops, sorry. Okay, so first thing, nowadays, senior care searchers are, like I said, they're a lot more active online and savvy about the reviews they read. On Caring, they're most interested in seeing reviews from others just like them, not reviews posted by your staff. In fact, we see a lot of suspicion when a listing has only positive reviews. We get private messages from consumer wondering if the employees of the business are posting all those reviews. Staff reviews are appropriate for sites like Glassdoor and Indeed, but they're not allowed on caring.com, and they really aren't good. And in some cases, they're prohibited on sites like Google, Yelp, and Facebook too. So focus on getting reviews from your cognitively healthy senior customers and their family members and friends who have firsthand experience with your services within 3 years. I'll also recommend that you consider the review platform and review submission option you think is best for the person you're asking to increase your odds of that outreach actually producing a stellar online review for you. For instance, and we're going to go into this more in just a moment, the young adult granddaughter of your resident is likely to have a Yelp account and be comfortable posting a review on Yelp. She probably has friends on that platform. She's probably posted over 50 reviews already on Yelp. The adult daughter or the senior may be better suited for a site like Caring that has the reviews by phone option. Match the reviewer to the best platform and options for them for greater success. Now let's talk about some specific personas and tactics, and Mark is going to lead us through this.
Great, thank you, Denise. So by matching the right reviewer, it's very important to make sure you know to go to the right review site. So with Mary, she's comfortable online, uses and gives online reviews. She's extremely busy, so it's important to have the right tools necessary to make it as frictionless as possible for Mary to be able to write a review, whether it's on caring.com, Facebook, Google, and so forth. Motivated to help family caregivers like her have an easier time caregiving. So the goal is to take this off of her plate. So she booked the services through your agency and for her elderly mother, and when she pays the bill, depending on how you handle that on the back end, it's always nice, and we will have some templates that you guys can take away to deploy that when you do send the bill or when she pays. That is a positive. You are kind of screening to make sure this person is very happy. And in that response, thanking her with a quick thank you, expressing appreciation, and asking if she's willing to help other families find the agency's high quality services by sharing her feedback online, whether that's through caring.com, Facebook, or Google. And also asking her, do you have a Gmail account? Because obviously you have to have a Gmail account to be able to write a Google review. And same thing with Caring, as you got to make sure you have a profile. Include the link. And once again, going back to as frictionless as possible, make sure you include that link to the online review submission form for that Google or caring.com link. So you also might want to follow up via text and email within a few weeks if you have not received a review from them. Because of course, and I saw some of the questions prior, a lot of people say they're going to do it and go home and do it, but they get caught up in their everyday busy lives, like the second bullet point about Mary. So you want to make sure it's as easy as possible for them to be able to write the review.
Thanks, Mark. I just wanted to add a couple things about Mary, because we help Mary every day at caring.com, and I've been helping Mary for almost 11 years now. And we actually tested, we did in the early years of our reviews program, we did a whole campaign where we tested what motivated Mary to write a review. We tested rewarding herself through a gift card, and then we tested donation to charity. Donation to charity won by a large margin. Mary is motivated to help others. So when you're asking her for a review, you may be more effective by bringing up helping others than, hey, will you do a favor for our agency? So when she gives you a note of or verbal positive feedback, a compliment on your services, seize the moment by asking her to help. Hey, would you be willing to help other families like you by sharing your feedback in an online review? It's one way. So when you think about Mary's motivation, it's one way to achieve more success with getting that online review.
Exactly. The verbal is huge, and followed up with an email and a text.
Perfect.
Absolutely. So now we have Steve. He's a pretty handsome guy. He's hugging his dad, seeing him, and he's comfortable. Clearly he has emails, he knows how to text, but isn't maybe as social avid as most people at his age. He's again busy, and we need to make it convenient as possible. As you can see, the current trends, it seems like convenience and frictionless is the most important part of this, but he is motivated to give back to the community. It ties into what Denise just said on the last slide. He comes to visit every week and compliments the staff on how they take care of his father so well. And you want to respond by ensuring that the caregiver staff and educating your staff and maybe incentivizing your staff to seize the moment and capture Steve's feedback for marketing follow-up. You want to express the appreciation and ask if you'd be willing to help other families. Once again, going back to helping other families is very crucial in this, as he's very motivated to give back to the community. And then once again, give him the Review Us on Caring handout, because maybe he's not really social media savvy. So it's really identifying each one of these people and seeing what best fits for them, but more importantly, educating your staff and having them engaged in this because of whether it's home health care. These staffers aren't going to get work if their reputation isn't that great or don't have a lot of reviews. So getting them involved in that type of thing is very crucial. So
yeah, that's great. And I would add a thing about Steve and the memory care customer is what we've seen is, unlike Mary, who may be more motivated by helping other family caregivers, the memory care consumers frequently are so grateful for the services that you're providing to their loved one that in this case, they may be motivated to give back to your business by doing an online review. And they also want to help other caregivers like them. So the important thing to pay attention to is what we're trying to get across here is each reviewer may have a different motivation. You have to consider the perspective of them when asking for the review. All right, let's talk about Barbara.
It's a very good looking lady. So with independent living, Barbara has an email and a smartphone. And some of the prior questions, we see that some people think that, oh, they're elderly, they don't have Facebook. I know people in their 80s and 90s that's all they do is on Facebook, but prefers in-person and phone-based communication. She's retired and has no time to give a review. So as she's just chilling out. So we want to make sure that's easy as possible, motivating and attracting great neighbors, new friends into the community. So a sample scenario would be She's lived in that community for 5 years, regularly participates in activities, and enjoys not only the facility or the resident, but also the dining options. So the approach for her and confirming the satisfaction of the service offering, she'd be willing to help the community attract more great residents to hang out with her while she's there by sharing an online review. This is where caring.com comes in with advice of options if she prefers maybe a review by phone or online, and caring.com provides that very easy for her. And that's where she would give up or talk about reviewing us on Caring handout with multiple options to call or email to fill out that form. So you're giving her multiple options in that independent living situation. So Denise, do you have anything more about Barbara?
Yes, so the one key tip we have for Barbara and any of the senior living residents, and we appreciate your help getting this across to them, is some of them don't understand that, particularly for senior living, that the listing where they're adding their review has their home address. So they should avoid using their full real name. We do our best to prevent those reviews from getting published, and we follow up with seniors when they submit a review with their full real name. We even get some where they put their apartment number. We remind them that it's a public website. These reviews are public facing, and it's not best practice to put their full real name on a page that has their home address, reaching millions of people. Caring is currently reaching millions of people. So that's one tip, is when you encourage them to give an online review, make sure they understand to choose a screen name. They can choose their first name, but I wouldn't choose the full real name. All right, Bob and Linda.
Good looking couple as well. So this is very crucial in regards to just prospects. So they might have not experienced the services, but they experienced the walkthrough and the showing. So about Bob and Linda, they have emails and smartphones, and I think the majority do nowadays, but they prefer in-person and phone-based communication. One or both of them have obviously time to give that review, but need to make it a little more easy and possible. So once again, finding those frictionless ways of getting Bob and Linda to write a review. And they're again motivated to help other seniors in their search for their next home where they will feel comfortable. So they are excited about it, and time is of the essence to make sure you get these communications out to them to get the review. They're downsizing and anticipating care needs. They take a tour and fall in love with your community, giving lots of positive feedback. So once again, who's ever doing the tours, you need to read these people and understand if they're happy. That's when you want to definitely go in with a response and thanking them in person via follow-up email for taking time to tour the community. One thing in the responses is, as you're asking, saying, what's the best line of communication for you? Clearly they have a smartphone or an email. Is it email? Is it texting? Knowing how they like to be communicated is very crucial, and asking if they're willing to share their feedback online as well with the review to help other seniors just like them. And then once again, giving them a review submission link or offer other options because they would rather do phone-based communication with a review by phone if that's preferred. And then once again, sharing relevant tips as avoiding using their full name, as Denise went in detail on the last slide.
Yeah, and then the other thing I would, for Caring, we would allow one review each from Bob and Linda. So because it not the same exact review, but each perspective. And I just helped a couple last week in this very scenario where each wanted to give their own review, and they were very unique, their perspectives, and it was wonderful for the senior living community. They got a twofer. So
Twofer.
Yeah.
All right. So who not to ask for reviews on consumer sites? We all know we should not be asking memory care, because as you know, people that aren't in memory care that say that they're going to write a review still don't do it. So we definitely want to avoid asking memory care clients and residents or seniors with cognitive impairment. The second one is a complete no-no. Do not hire anyone to post reviews. You do not want to get blacklisted on Google. Especially for Yelp as well. You cannot, if you can see the bullet point all the way at the bottom, Yelp prohibits from you asking anyone for a review. They want more organic posting. You can't really incentivize for reviews. So it's very important to go back to the other slides and really have your staff engage with the resident or the client and fill them out, so that way it's more organic than trying to hire and post reviews. Incentivizing is a no-no. So, and you don't want to ask anyone who refers clients or customers to you or to whom you refer client customers, your business vendors or friends of owners. This is an organic thing. Consumers that are looking at reviews can sniff this out pretty quick and see if that's actually organic or not. So once again, the majority of consumers read reviews, and if it looks too fishy, then they might go to your competitor.
That's right. All right, now let's talk about when to ask for reviews. And thank you for those that have been submitting questions. We can't wait to get to that section, and we'll cover it then. So I want to share how to ask or when to ask for reviews and a few key time tactics for success in generating them. To be most successful in building your online reputation, you need to think about asking for reviews beyond a one-off project, and instead build a culture that solicits feedback and is ready and good at asking for reviews at any time. Your organizational leaders can help reinforce reviews as a priority by sending a clear message that customer feedback truly matters to the success of the business, and everyone throughout the organization is customer service oriented and taking the opportunities as they arise to get great online reviews. You can use customer feedback and online reviews as a way to celebrate your employees as well. We've even heard from some senior living communities and home care agencies that their online customer reviews help them attract and retain great caregivers, because those employees want to be part of a company doing great work. And we all know right now it's pretty tough. We're having caregiver shortage. So consumer reviews could be a strategy for your recruiting. Make sure your employees are trained to understand best practices, though. Thank you for attending this webinar to learn some. Don't pressure your customers to give online reviews, and we're going to talk about some specific scripting in just a moment. Make sure you have systems and practices in place to seize those reviews opportunities in the course of the workday, similar to what Mark took you through on the personas earlier. At this time, I'd love to ask you, feel free to put it in chat. What are some of the ways that you're engaging your employees to get more customer reviews? We talk to senior living communities and home care agencies all the time about our suggestions, but we would love to hear what's working for you as well. At Caring, we have review outreach cadences that we've built into our standard operation. For instance, when we refer family caregivers and seniors to local communities or agencies, we follow up with those individuals to find out if they'd be willing to share a review for any of the businesses they considered or selected. We also have a review ask for our family advisors. How well did they serve your needs? And you'll see some of those reviews on the website FIFO.com about our referral services. When asking for reviews, there are still some moments that are the right moments. For instance, is it appropriate to ask for a review right after the senior or the family member has signed a contract? I wouldn't recommend that timing because that individual hasn't received services yet. But you could include a review us insert in the onboarding or welcome packet and check in a few weeks later to see if they do have feedback about how things are going and would be willing to share a review online. Before outreaching, you might check in with that person and make sure they're still pleased with the services and are truly a great candidate for a positive review. If there are concerns that need attention, you could address those first and make a note to follow up a month or two later to see how things are going then. If they're in a better place, that might be a better time to ask for the review. Ask for when you're confident that person has positive things to say about your experience if you're targeting getting as many 5-star reviews as possible. As we were registering folks for this session, many of you commented that you were asking your customers for reviews, but you were feeling frustrated or challenged about getting the customers to follow through. And some of you commented that you were seeking some specific guidance on how to overcome that. If you're only asking for reviews once and you're not monitoring and you're not following up, that may be contributing to the lack of success in this area. I created a sample campaign chart here with various tactics that can help you with effectively getting reviews. For instance, have you built a list of potential reviewers or folks you're confident or satisfied with your services? Have you done tailored outreach to them via email and phone? Did you monitor for the reviews generated or do any follow-up? And I'm not just talking about posting response. I'm talking about thank yous and check-ins on the feedback and how things are going. Did they understand how to publish an online review? Did they need any further help? These are some of the ways that you can help with that follow through, but be sure to stay polite and friendly rather than a tone of, you must do this, I have a quota to meet. Did you take the time to respond to reviews? We talked about that earlier. That's another tactic to generate reviews engagement. You should also be sharing your positive reviews on social media. This too can attract more reviewers for your business. Have you created a second or third tier of potential reviewers and outreach to them? If you've used strategic and personalized ask and done at least 1 or 2 rounds of follow-up with the first round of folks, move on to the second or third list. Or better yet, build review solicitation into your standard daily and weekly practices like I described how we do at Caring. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, gosh, this sounds like a lot of work. I don't have a staffer to do this. Just that's okay. Bake in that it's going to take you a little bit longer to reach the review collection goals you have. Be realistic about those goals. You may need to spread out this sample here over several months or even a quarter or half a year. Keeping review generation on the agenda doesn't have to be as intensive as the schedule I show you here. Don't give up. Just be realistic on what you can achieve and how long it might take you to do it. Mark, is there anything else you would suggest here?
Yeah, every circumstance is different in regards to requesting for reviews, not being too pushy. That's where the engagement of the staff is a crucial of understanding, not being too pushy, but having it as frictionless as possible. So every resident location and client's different. So I just recommend educating again your staffers as much as possible to engage with this and to buy into the campaigns, because it's only going to keep your resident location full and keep your home health care caregivers busy.
Great.
And that's where it leads right into when and when not to ask. It's the best time after a positive experience. And to tie into one of the questions is, if you're just recently have opened but don't have many residents, the crucial is asking the people that you tour. I'm going to be sending you out a text or an email in regards to how your tour went. Can you give us some feedback in regards to that? But sending that review request not long after the experience so that the reviewer is motivated to leave a review, as you know, and just even outside the home care side of things. Imagine if you went to a restaurant and then 2 weeks later you get a text and email on how their experience was. You're not really motivated to write that review. So let's deploy that right into after a tour, or after they had a great experience, or after that adult sibling came and met their dad and they get it 2 weeks later. It just doesn't make sense. So make sure you do it as quick as possible, but avoid asking for a review directly after a negative situation. So that's where, once again, the staffing needs to kind of sniff out if there has been a negative situation, or if they felt that there was a negative handling of that resident or that client. So it's very important to make sure you kind of choose and pick and choose of who you send that request out to. Next slide.
Great.
Or if you want to ask anything.
I would just add that sometimes we've talked about this, asking once isn't enough in many cases. So
Absolutely.
Mark is right. You have to do quick outreach, but you haven't missed the boat if you didn't get to them or they didn't produce a review from that initial outreach. That sample campaign cadence I gave you is still good. Keep those folks on that list for the outreach. It can serve as a reminder. I've had businesses where I had a great experience. I wanted to give them a review. I just totally forgot about it. So when they sent me a follow-up email 2 weeks later, that was a good reminder that I owed them that review. So don't give up. That would be my addition here. I don't think it's too late, and maybe 5 years is too late, but if you miss the next day or the following day, you can still ask them the following week. You just may not have as great results if that is the first ask.
absolutely. And the patience is just overall with reviews, especially in this industry, it's patience. If you're getting bombarded or not having enough reviews, it just takes time and persistence and patience. So, and it will also reflect on organic and looking like it's organic and true with the reviews on Google, on caring.com. So that's, once again, let's just make sure that this is a long play here, not just a short-term fix for a long-term problem.
That's great. Thank you, Mark. Now we even got this as a question. We have some sample outreach, email, phone, and in-person dialogue to help you with how to ask. Before I get it, well, here's a couple samples, but I want to just summarize some of the key points we've been discussing here, some of the key themes. You need to be opportunistic and supportive. So those personas gave you some very specific examples of how to seize the moment, seize the opportunity, and how to help that customer transition their positive feedback that they've given you in a note or that they've told you verbally to an online review. However, don't go so far that you go post it for them. That's where you're going to get into trouble with the review sites. Those reviews are going to get taken down. You might get flagged as posting fake reviews. You never want to post it for the consumer, but you do want to help them, give them the link, make it convenient, make it easy. You also need to be proactive. We've been talking about that. So not just opportunities, don't just wait for these opportunities to arise. Develop some outreach campaigns, create opportunities, make it clear that you're open to receiving feedback, but avoid pressuring, don't force anyone to give a review, and avoid incentivizing as well. But one comment I saw in some of the registration feedback was hesitancy in asking for a review. You don't need to be apologetic about asking for a review. Be grateful and encouraging, motivate, keep the motivation of those consumers in mind. Remember, online reviews really help family caregivers and seniors find the best communities and home care agencies. So you're doing a service to the consumer by asking for reviews and getting online reviews. You are helping people. So no need to be shy or apologetic about that. Remember that when you're asking for reviews, have confidence and help them. And then follow up politely. It's not always one and done. That is something we have definitely talked about. So I show you here 2 example texts. Hey, Mary, we, greatly appreciated the opportunity to care for your mom. We value your insight in your role. Would you be willing to share about your experience by posting an online review that would help others, right? So we're remembering Mary is motivated by helping others. You get a compliment. Wow, positive feed like that really helps let us know that we're fulfilling our mission and lets others know they can trust us with their loved ones too. Would you be willing to share that as an online review, right? And then you transition to helping them, which platform's best for them, etc. Okay.
Real quick, Denise, I actually, to follow up, and I know some of the questions were like, oh, I don't want to bombard my residents' offspring or whatever it may be, but we just got done with a statistic as of today. And if a business follows up with a survey link, like we've been discussing, after an experience, over 76% of those surveyors stated that they would be more likely to leave a review. So don't feel like you're bombarding these people. Over 75% of people would be willing to leave a review. So be proactive, like you said.
Great. Okay, so this is a common question we get, and that is, gosh, what do I write in that outbound ask email? This is a sample we share in our reviews webinar. It starts by thanking the customer for their kind words. This also reminds them, right? Reminds them of the positive feedback they gave you. We're working toward 5-star reviews here, right? And I've made it convenient for them to give their review. I don't just tell them to go to caring.com and find your page. I give them the direct link to your review submission form, or I give them the phone number to make it as frictionless as possible. And also it lets her know you're not taking too much of her time, you're making it convenient. And then it closes by the focus back on serving the customer, presenting the business as open to receiving more feedback directly on how you can best serve her and her mom. This can help avoid negative feedback landing in the online review and encourages her to give you a chance to address any concerns if you're not already aware of them. We've also been asked for sample dialogue. This is written in the email format, and obviously every conversation is going to be different, but it gives you a little bit of a template or a script following that you could adjust to your own words. And basically, first off, if you're calling them and their mind is going to go to something's wrong with my loved one. So you want to make sure to reassure them everything's fine with your dad. We love having him. I'm actually calling about an opportunity to help other families like yours. And always check in. Is this a good time to talk about this? Or would you prefer I send some related info via email? Pause and listen and react accordingly, right? We aren't just going at them with the broadcast marketing. We're going to check in. Is this a good time? I'm not calling about anything concerning. And if you like, I can send information via email. Once again, you're reminding them about positivity they've shared about your services in the past, and you're reminding them about how online reviews help others. In this sample, I'm calling out Caring.com that you can collect a review by phone or online. Caring will even offer that if you give permission, I can give your name and phone number and they'll call you. Which would you prefer, right? So is it okay? Is not asked. Which of these options would you prefer? Let's move them to the yes, right? But you still need to pause, listen, and respond accordingly. And if they say yes and they tell you which one, great. After this call, I'm going to email over, or on the call, you give them the phone number, or you get their permission to share their name and phone number. If they say no, don't keep pushing. Thank them for their time and ask if there's more you can do to help them. Maybe they're saying no because there's some concern that you haven't addressed yet or you don't know about, right? So you want to make sure to leave the door open. You also understand they might be busy. Now it's not a good time. Keep them, make sure to keep the door open for ongoing dialogue. Maybe they'll be ready at another time. On Caring.com, we have a few tools. I've mentioned them a couple different times, but every listing has a dedicated review submission form. Some of you represents multiple locations and you want to do a campaign for all of them at once. That's okay. We have a form that can be for any business, any senior living community or home care agency in America. All they have to do is go to caring.com/reviews. And for those of you in our partner network in senior living, we even have a tool in Partner Portal, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. And as I mentioned, we have a review call-in line. You can provide us consumer names and phone numbers if those consumers have opted in, and we'll call them. And we're integrated with Home Care Pulse. Home Care Pulse calls home care agencies' clients, gets the consumer's permission to share the review on Caring, and then feeds that through once a month. The Partner Portal tool does the asking for you. So you can upload a consumer email list via CSV or copy and paste into there. And then you add your business signature, and we have used the help others like you approach with this tool. We have found it is very useful for our partners. Many of our partners qualified for Caring Stars 2021 using this tool. And it tells you how many reviews you generated. Few things I want to just give you a heads up on. First off, some people are afraid to use it. They think we're going to solicit these folks. The answer is no. We're only asking for a review. We're not adding them to marketing campaigns. We're not trying to get them to move into your competitor down the street. We're only asking them for a review on your behalf. The other caveat I want to warn you about is do not send the review to your professional business address and forward from there, because we have code on the back of the solicitation to enable us to track how many reviews you generated from the campaign. So if you send it to yourself, Denise@caring.com, for instance, and then you forward it to the consumers from there, all the subsequent reviews will be from Denise@caring.com. So you want to make sure you enter the consumer's email in the portal tool and it goes directly to the consumer, not to your business email. It's a very important tip for you. All right, now Mark's going to tell you about Consumer Fusion, the tools they have to ask for reviews.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, so with Consumer Fusion and with the partnership that we have with Caring.com, we have a platform to make it a little easier for you to send out requests for Caring.com along with Google and Facebook. And so our platform is enterprise-based. It also pulls in real-time reviews from the Googles, the Facebooks, the Yelps, and then the Caring.coms. But on the offensive side of asking for reviews, There's 3 different options that you do have to send out review requests. I know some of the questions that we have, sometimes your staffing is just inundated with all the day-to-days. So we do have an API that can tap into your CRM system to trigger a text and email. We also have an app that can be downloaded by the caregiver or your staff, and it actually tracks who that staffer is. So you can maybe incentivize those staffers of whoever gets the most review requests, gets, Starbucks gift card or whatnot. So that app, you easily put in the first name, cell phone number, email address, and click send. Once again, we want to go back to those frictionless points because, as you know, seniors are logged into their Facebook. They are logged into their Gmail account on their phone. So we recommend, with email and text, but most text messaging, because it does get opened up 98% of the time within the first 2 to 3 minutes, and then email is a little bit less. So our focus is to make it as frictionless as possible. So we have the computer and the dashboard to be able to manually put it in. We have the app for the caregivers to do it, or we can do it automated through the API through your CRM system. Now, once that request is sent out, the next slide, Denise, is what they're going to see on their end. So we have an MMS image and an SMS image. That way they know it's coming from what resident and what client and company. So we have that image in there, and we can gear it towards what you want it to look like. And once they click on that link, you'll see to the left, we can have where we recommend they go, which I recommend the top 3 in your industry would be Google, Caring.com, and Facebook. So either they have to have a Gmail account to write a Google review. We went through Caring.com and also with Facebook. So this is a little easier way of doing this to send out those review requests to generate more reviews. Now, not only are we having issues and we understand the employee poll, we also focus on Indeed and Glassdoor, so we can set up custom review requests for your employees to enhance your Glassdoor and Indeed reviews to your employees as well. So we customize this towards how the process works at the facility and also how your business works. So with this being said, it's all pulled into one portal, so you can actually see everything going on. And then from there, you can see if they're clicking out to Google, Caring.com, and Facebook. So this is making it a little more frictionless for you, your staff, and more importantly, making it extremely convenient for the in-person trying to write the review.
That's great. Thank you. And we have been getting a lot of questions. I'm very excited about this. First question I wanted to answer was about seniors who need to do a review by phone and how that works. So for years, over 5 years, Caring has been doing reviews collection by phone to the seniors and families we refer to our partner communities and agencies. So we have highly trained review collection agents who tailor the discussion to the type of care. Okay, so we know the difference between home care and senior living. So the types of questions we're asking the home care consumer are going to be different than the types of questions we're asking the senior. And we also adjust the conversation to the senior's availability. Some seniors talk to us for 20 minutes. Some only have 5 minutes to give a review by phone. So we capture the key components. It just really varies. And it's highly tailored. As you can imagine, this is a costly thing to do. So this service is only available for partners in the Caring network, so communities and agencies in the Caring network. So thank you for that question. We also got a little bit of confusion on the incentives. Mark, did you want to talk a little bit more about incentives and how that works? Who is it okay to incentivize and who is it not okay to incentivize?
Yeah, the Yelp really frowns upon it. And more now with like the Googles and the Facebooks, they're really pushing away from incentivizing to write a review, including charities. But where I would incentivize the most would be your staff. Clearly competitive, having a gaming type of situation of who's winning the leaderboard for who sent out the most review requests or getting the most reviews, or if that caregiver's name is in the review themselves. I would push more towards incentivizing on that end of it, as opposed to incentivizing to write a review from the consumer.
That's right. And the study I mentioned was our review platform in the very early years. So this was a long time ago when there wasn't as much of a problem with the online fake reviews. And there wasn't FTC legislation back then. So, and we were the host of the program incentivizing, not the individual businesses paying for reviews. So there's a difference. It's a nuance, but it's a difference. So thank you for that, Mark. And then the other thing, I just want to make sure we covered some of the early questions we get. We got a question about the reminder email and text. We provided samples there. There's a lot more samples online. I'm sure Consumer Fusion has some samples as well they can provide if you need more guidance. But one question we got, and this is a great question, is as a marketer, the response they usually get from the frontline staff, staffers, particularly their client services staff, is that they're so busy and overwhelmed with their other job tasks. They really don't have time to help ask for reviews. So are there any tips for how marketing can step in and take most of the work off their plate in asking for reviews, understanding that marketing doesn't have that immediate client contact as much like the persona examples we shared? I have several thoughts on this, Mark, but I will open it to you if you want to give yours first.
You can go ahead.
Okay, great.
Once again, we can, that's where it comes with more automation. It really, every business is slightly different, but you can go ahead and touch base on this one.
Okay, great. So this actually comes up a lot particularly with the major senior living organizations that have 100 locations nationwide, and having a team at the corporate office that manages the online reputation. So what we've seen work for them is, first of all, they set up an internal email for reviews, right? So an internal email for their staff to contact. Like we have reviews at Caring. Anyone inside our organization or outside our organization can use that. But some of the organizations I've seen have an internal email group where staff can send suggestions, say, hey, Betty gave us some great feedback today. Here is what she said, and here's how to contact her. And then marketing does the follow-up, right? Some of the organizations also do custom webinars and custom trainings for their staff on how to get those opportunities into the hands of the marketing. Marketing handles the follow-up, the ask. Maybe they're using Consumer Fusion tool that Mark showed you. Maybe marketing is uploading those emails to the Caring solicitation tool, but it's coming from the communities, or in the case of home care, the franchise locations, to get those consumers into the flow. And as Mark talked about, time is of the essence. So the better you are at setting up these systems, the better your staff know how important it is to capture these opportunities, the better you will be at achieving reviews, depending on the systems. We also have some partners that set up what Mark talked about, of which community gets the most positive reviews in a month wins like a pizza party, for instance, or wins a happy hour, or whatever it is, to get their staff understanding and engaged in asking for reviews as another way. Yes, they're busy. Yes, they're overwhelmed. But if the customer is coming to you with positive feedback, make sure they know what to do with that. Not just thank you, but also transitioning that opportunity to marketing for asking for a review, or asking right then, would you be willing to give an online review? Yes, great. I'm going to share your contact information with our marketing team. They'll follow up with you with details. Hopefully that gave you enough fodder to work with. Is there anything else you'd add, Mark?
No, and I believe this same person followed up mentioning, how about a collective incentive, like a marketing campaign where we tell the clients if we reach a certain amount of reviews, we get a $5,000 charity. It is something I think more collaborative, or giving that incentive, or if we do it collaboratively, like with the staff more than just the consumers itself. But once again, we want to keep this as, if we start getting too incentivized, then you're going to get that influx of reviews that might not look as organic. So I just wanted to touch base on that.
That's great. We got a question about, is it okay to ask multiple members of a single family to leave reviews, such as the senior receiving services and their family member, or should you only ask one individual?
I recommend Yeah, everybody, the resident, the client, their brother, their sister. I mean, if they're experiencing something, whether they're going to the resident itself or they're involved with the in-home care, I highly recommend it's the family. It helps.
That's great. Yeah, I agree. On Caring, we do allow multiple members of a single family to post reviews as long as each review is original. Okay, and then some of you were asking about, some of the caring.com services. Please contact reviews@caring.com. We're also going to share that contact information. I will follow up with you. Make sure you have the details on those services that we offer. And I'm just looking through to see if there's any questions we missed. And also Consumer Fusion, we're going to give you an opportunity to connect directly with them to learn more about the tool that Mark showed you as well.
Yeah, there's one question with the Consumer Fusion's review for request.
Yes.
Can you have a link to more than one place? Absolutely. We recommend just keep it no more than 3 or 4, because if you give too many options, they're just clicking out. So yeah, there can be more links. There could be, I recommend on that landing page having Google, caring.com, and Facebook. So yes, we can have more than one link.
That's great. And we're coming up on the hour. So I want to get it. If we missed your question, we will definitely be downloading all of the questions, whether they were from the Q&A in the chat, and we'll make sure to follow up. We'll be able to see the full list and make sure you get an answer. We also are going to have some contact information for you momentarily, but I just want to make sure we summarize some of the key points that we covered today before we close out the session. We discussed how reviews can help you meet and exceed your sales goals, but you must be proactive to build an excellent reviews profile. We also talked about review submission options, the platforms, they vary. Select the best option for the person you're asking to make it as easy as possible. So we've talked about this, ease and convenience. Caring is an industry-specific reviews leader for over 10 years. We rank well on Google. Google even shows our reviews in their module. And we have multiple review submission options. Consumer Fusion is a great tool to help your business stay on top of the review generation, review monitoring, and responses across multiple platforms. And they also have an expertise in negative review removal. This is how you can reach Mark, his email and his phone here. And Mark has, we're going to prompt you after this session to take a quick survey, and we hope you do. And you can opt in to be contacted by Consumer Fusion. But Mark, why don't you tell them about a special offer you have for them?
Yeah, so understanding the state of the reviews in today's age in regards to, employee poll, consumers looking at reviews more than ever, getting hit with negative reviews from ex-employees, third parties, competitors. Our focus is we want to help you guys out as much as possible. And now more than ever, reputation is very important. So because you're part of the caring.com community, we are offering a free 2-month pilot for up to 2 locations, because I know some of you might have multiple locations, for the full offering, the review generation, the review monitoring, the responding to reviews, and also the negative review removal if it's applicable. So feel free to reach out to me via email. You can call me, and you can also go to that landing page and fill out your information, and we'll go ahead and reach out to you as soon as possible to get that started. So I appreciate it, Denise.
Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate you taking time to share your insights with our audience today. I hope everyone has found it helpful. And we recognize your time crunched, and we appreciate you taking time to be here. We look forward to hearing from you. Please do take the survey. It takes only a few minutes. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now, and have a great rest of your day.